The signal. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the data stream flowing across her holographic display, her coffee growing cold beside her keyboard. Something wasn't right. The quantum readings from Research Station Omega, humanity's furthest deep space installation, had been showing increasingly bizarre patterns over the past 48 hours. Dr. Reynolds, could you take a look at this? She called up to her colleague, who was absorbed in his own work across the dimly lit monitoring center. The facility, buried deep beneath the lunar surface, served as humanity's primary deep space observation post. Reynolds, a tall man with graying temples and perpetually disheveled hair, made his way over. His eyes widened as he studied the stream of numbers. These quantum fluctuations, they're unlike anything in our database. That's not all. Sarah pulled up another display, this one showing a series of complex waveforms. The gravitational readings are off the charts, but there's no visible source. It's as if something massive is there, but also isn't. The situation at Research Station Omega had started innocuously enough. The station, positioned at the edge of known space, was designed to study quantum anomalies and deep space phenomena. Its crew of 15 represented some of humanity's brightest minds, equipped with technology that, while considered primitive by galactic standards, had been enhanced by human ingenuity in ways that often puzzled their alien counterparts. As Sarah and Reynolds studied the readings, a new alert flashed across their screens. The quantum fluctuations had suddenly intensified, and with them came something unexpected. A signal, encoded in a format that defied conventional analysis. "This isn't standard protocol," Reynolds muttered, his fingers flying across the holographic interface. The station's AI wouldn't send encrypted data without proper headers unless something was preventing normal communication. Sarah finished his thought. She initiated the emergency decryption protocols, mathematical algorithms of her own design that approached encryption from angles most alien species never considered. The decoded message was brief but chilling. Entity detected. Non-physical manifestation. Standard protocols ineffective. Request immediate assistance. Time is different here. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. In the 50 years since humanity had joined the galactic community, they had encountered many strange phenomena, but nothing that had prompted such a cryptic message from a research team. The Galactic Council had always viewed humans as newcomers, their technology primitive compared to species that had been traversing the stars for millennia. But humans had proven remarkably adaptable, approaching problems from unexpected angles that often left their alien counterparts bewildered. "We need to alert the Council," Reynolds said, already reaching for the quantum communicator. Sarah caught his arm. "Wait," she said, her mind racing. "Look at these patterns in the quantum fluctuations. They're not random. There's a structure here that reminds me of something." She pulled up an old research paper, one she had written years ago, theorizing about the possibility of conscious entities existing in quantum states. The paper had been dismissed by most of the scientific community, both human and alien, as speculative fantasy. "The station might have encountered exactly what I predicted," she whispered, excitement mixing with apprehension. "A being that exists primarily in quantum states, perceiving reality in ways we can barely comprehend." Reynolds studied the comparison she had pulled up. "Even if you're right, what can we do? Our understanding of quantum mechanics is centuries behind the major galactic powers." Sarah smiled, a plan already forming in her mind. "Maybe that's exactly why we're the ones who need to handle this. The major powers approach quantum physics from a position of certainty. They know how it works, or think they do. But we're still asking questions, still seeing possibilities they might have dismissed centuries ago." She began typing rapidly, sending instructions to Research Station Omega. The message was simple: don't try to observe the entity directly. Instead, use the quantum uncertainty itself as a means of communication. "The Council needs to be informed," Reynolds insisted. "But I agree. We should take the lead on this. Humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to find unconventional solutions. As they prepared to brief their superiors, Sarah couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement beneath her professional exterior. This was exactly the kind of situation humans excelled at, facing the unknown with a combination of scientific rigor and imaginative problem-solving that their more advanced alien colleagues often struggle to understand. The next few hours were a blur of activity. Emergency protocols were activated, but not in the way anyone had expected. Instead of a military response, humanity was assembling a team of theoretical physicists, quantum computing specialists, and consciousness researchers. The alien members of the Galactic Council observed with a mixture of confusion and curiosity as humans approached this potential crisis, not as a threat to be contained, but as a mystery to be understood. Little did they know that this encounter would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever, not through force or advanced technology, but through their unique ability to face the impossible with open minds and adaptable thinking. As Sarah prepared to board the quantum-capable research vessel that would take her to Station Omega, she found herself thinking about humanity's relatively brief time among the stars. The advanced species might have mastered faster-than-light travel and manipulation of quantum states, but humans had retained something many of them had lost: the ability to look at the universe with wonder and to approach the unknown not with fear, but with curiosity and creativity. The signal from Station Omega continued its bizarre pattern, a reminder that somewhere out there, something unprecedented awaited, and humanity, despite their primitive technology, might be uniquely qualified to understand it. The response. The Galactic Council's emergency session chamber hummed with nervous energy as representatives from dozens of advanced civilizations gathered to discuss the situation at Research Station Omega. Ambassador Elena Torres stood before them, her posture relaxed but confident, despite being surrounded by beings whose civilizations had mastered space travel while humans were still learning to make fire. With all due respect, the Zix representative's translator conveyed, their crystalline form shimmering with skepticism, humanity's proposed response to this situation is unconventional. You wish to send researchers rather than a containment fleet. Elena smiled, a gesture that still confused many alien species. We believe this situation requires understanding before action. Our preliminary analysis suggests we're dealing with a conscious entity that exists primarily in quantum states. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of translated discussions. The Merid representative, and being of pure energy contained within an advanced field generator, moved forward. We have encountered quantum anomalies before. Standard procedure dictates isolation and neutralization if necessary. And how many of those encounters resulted in successful communication? Elena asked, knowing the answer. The silence that followed was telling. Meanwhile, aboard the research vessel Curiosity, Dr. Sarah Chen was leading a very different kind of preparation. The ship's main laboratory had been transformed into what most advanced species would consider a bewildering mix of cutting-edge technology and seemingly primitive equipment. Are you sure about this? Dr. Reynolds asked, watching as Sarah connected a quantum sensor to what appeared to be an old analog synthesizer. The device was part of what she called a quantum harmonics translator, a system that would attempt to convert quantum state fluctuations into patterns that human consciousness could more easily interpret. Think about it, Sarah replied, making delicate adjustments to the equipment. Most advanced species approach quantum mechanics through pure mathematics and highly sophisticated technology. But what if that's exactly why they've never managed to communicate with quantum state entities? They're trying to force quantum phenomena into classical frameworks. Across the ship, similar innovations were taking place. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a consciousness researcher, had set up what she called a quantum meditation chamber, a space where human brainwaves could be synchronized with quantum fluctuations. The more traditional scientists among the crew were skeptical, but Sarah had learned long ago not to dismiss unconventional approaches. The Curiosity itself was a testament to human ingenuity. While not as advanced as the ships of their galactic neighbors, humans had modified it in ways that often puzzled alien engineers. The quantum drive had been augmented with what the engineering team called intuitive navigation, a system that somehow achieved better results by deliberately introducing controlled uncertainty into its calculations. Back in the council chamber, Elena was concluding her presentation. "We're not dismissing the potential dangers," she assured the assembled representatives. "But humanity's history has taught us that what appears threatening often simply reflects our own limitations in understanding. And if you're wrong," the Zix representative challenged, "if this entity proves hostile, then we'll deal with that situation when it arises," Elena replied. "But we won't assume hostility just because we're facing something we don't understand. That's not humanity's way." The council's deliberation was interrupted by a priority communication from the Curiosity. Sarah's face appeared on the main display, her expression excited rather than concerned. "We've made our first breakthrough," she announced. "By combining quantum sensor data with human brainwave patterns, we've detected what appears to be a pattern, not in the quantum fluctuations themselves, but in the spaces between them. It's similar to how human consciousness exists not in individual neural firings, but in the overall pattern of brain activity." The council members exchanged glances, many of their species' expressions unreadable to human eyes. What they were witnessing was characteristic of humanity's approach to problems, a seemingly chaotic mixture of scientific principle and intuitive leaps that somehow produced results. As the Curiosity prepared for its final approach to Research Station Omega, Sarah watched the stream of data from her quantum harmonics translator. The patterns were becoming clearer, suggesting something that even she had not expected. The quantum entity wasn't just trying to communicate, it was trying to understand them as much as they were trying to understand it. "Different species, different approaches," she muttered to herself, making another adjustment to her equipment. "Maybe that's why we're here. Not because we're the most advanced, but because we're still learning, still willing to try things that more experienced species might consider impossible or irrelevant." The ship's AI announced their approach to the final jump point. Soon, they would be face to face, in whatever sense that term might apply, with the mysterious entity that had prompted this mission. As the crew made their final preparations, Sarah reflected on humanity's unique position in the galaxy. They might lack the advanced technology of other species, but they possessed something perhaps more valuable: the ability to embrace uncertainty and see possibilities where others saw only chaos. The Curiosity's quantum drive hummed to life, its human-modified systems preparing for the jump to Research Station Omega. Whatever they would find there, humanity was approaching it in their own unique way, with curiosity, creativity, and an open mind to possibilities that even the most advanced civilizations might have overlooked. First contact. The Curiosity emerged from its quantum jump to find Research Station Omega seemingly intact, floating serenely against the backdrop of deep space, but appearances, as the crew well knew, could be deceiving. The quantum readings that had brought them here were now off the scale, their instruments struggling to make sense of what they were detecting. "Status of the station's crew?" Sarah asked, her eyes fixed on the main viewport. "Life signs stable," reported Dr. Reynolds, studying the sensor readings. "But their neural patterns are unusual. It's as if they're all in a deep meditative state." The station itself appeared to shimmer slightly, like heat waves rising from hot pavement. The effect was subtle enough that most species' sensors would have missed it entirely. But humans, with their tendency to modify and jury-rig their equipment, had sensors specifically designed to detect quantum-scale anomalies in visible space. "Look at this," Dr. Tanaka called from her station, where the quantum meditation chamber's readings were displaying unprecedented patterns. The crew's brainwave patterns are synchronized, not just with each other, but with the quantum fluctuations we detected earlier. Sarah felt a familiar excitement building, the kind that came when they were on the verge of understanding something new. They're not in danger, she realized. They're communicating. The Curiosity's communication system crackled to life, carrying a message from the Galactic Council's observation vessel that had followed them at a safe distance. "Human vessel Curiosity, Our sensors detect dangerous levels of quantum instability. We strongly advise retreating to a safe distance." Sarah exchanged glances with her crew. This was the moment where humanity's approach would either prove brilliant or disastrous. "Thank you for your concern," she responded, "but we're proceeding as planned." The Curiosity moved closer to the station, its modified shields adapting to the quantum disturbances in ways that their alien observers found both fascinating and alarming. As they approached, Sarah's quantum harmonics translator began picking up patterns that resembled music, if music could be composed of probability waves and quantum uncertainties. "Dr. Tanaka," Sarah called, "are you ready with the meditation chamber?" The consciousness researcher nodded, already settling into the specially designed interface. "Ready, though I still can't believe we're attempting first contact through what amounts to quantum meditation. Sometimes the most effective solutions are the ones that seem least logical," Sarah replied, initiating the connection sequence. The chamber hummed to life, its quantum sensors aligning with the patterns emanating from the station. What happened next would be debated in scientific circles across the galaxy for years to come. The quantum harmonics translator began producing sounds that shouldn't have been possible, harmonies that existed in superposition, melodies that seemed to play backwards and forwards simultaneously. And through it all, patterns began to emerge. "It's beautiful," Dr. Tanaka whispered from within the meditation chamber. Her brainwave patterns had synchronized with both the station's crew and the quantum fluctuations. "It's not just trying to communicate, it's trying to share its experience of reality." The entity, as they now understood, existed in a state of quantum superposition across multiple dimensions. It experienced time not as a linear flow, but as a simultaneous expanse of possibilities. And it had been drawn to the human research station precisely because of humanity's unique approach to understanding the universe. "The advanced species," Dr. Tanaka continued, her voice distant but clear, "they see the quantum realm as something to be measured, controlled, predicted. But we were still willing to simply experience it, to let it be what it is while trying to understand it on its own terms." The observation from the alien vessel continued to transmit warnings, their sensors detecting what they interpreted as dangerous instabilities. But aboard the Curiosity, something remarkable was taking place. Through their hybrid system of scientific instruments and intuitive interfaces, they were beginning to understand. The entity was ancient, one of many similar beings that had once been common in the galaxy. But as sentient species evolved and began to impose their rigid understanding of physics on the universe, these quantum beings had retreated to the spaces between conventional reality. The Human Research Station, with its unique blend of scientific inquiry and openness to possibility, had inadvertently created a space where such a being could once again manifest. "It's not dangerous," Sarah announced, both to her crew and to the observing council vessel. "It's lonely. It's been waiting for someone who could understand it, who could bridge the gap between classical and quantum existence." Through their quantum harmonics translator, they began to receive what could only be described as memories, impressions of a universe far stranger and more wonderful than even the most advanced species had imagined. The entity showed them how reality appeared from its perspective. A symphony of possibilities, a dance of probabilities, where consciousness itself was as fundamental as mass or energy. The crew of Research Station Omega had inadvertently stumbled upon this truth, and rather than retreat from it, they had embraced it. Their synchronized state wasn't a danger sign. It was the first step toward a new kind of understanding. Sarah looked at the data streaming across her displays, at the harmonies playing through her translator, and at the shimmering form of the station before them. Humanity had done what the advanced species had thought impossible. They had made contact not through superior technology or mathematical precision, but through their willingness to embrace the unknown, to approach it with both scientific rigor and open-minded wonder. "Send a message to the Council," she instructed, her eyes still fixed on the beautiful quantum patterns before them. "Tell them we're not just making contact. We're making history. The solution." The Galactic Council's emergency chamber had never seen anything quite like this. Representatives from the most advanced civilizations in known space watched in stunned silence as Dr. Sarah Chen presented her findings. The holographic displays showed data that seemed to defy conventional physics, yet the results were undeniable. "What you're seeing," Sarah explained, gesturing to the complex patterns floating in the air, "is not just communication with the quantum entity. It's a window into a fundamental aspect of reality that we've all been too certain to see." The married representative's energy form flickered with what might have been agitation. "You suggest that our understanding of quantum mechanics, refined over millennia, is somehow incomplete." "Not incomplete," Sarah corrected gently. "Just too rigid. We've all been trying to force quantum phenomena into classical frameworks. But what if the quantum realm isn't just a set of rules to be mastered? What if it's a living, breathing part of the universe that responds to consciousness itself?" The data from Research Station Omega continued to stream across the displays. The quantum entity had revealed itself to be part of an ancient network of consciousness that existed in the quantum fabric of space itself. These beings hadn't vanished from the galaxy. They had simply been rendered invisible by the very certainty with which advanced species approached quantum physics. "The human crew's success," Dr. Tanaka added, "came not from superior technology, but from our willingness to question our own assumptions. Our meditation chamber wasn't just detecting quantum states, it was allowing human consciousness to resonate with quantum possibilities." The council chamber erupted in a chaos of translated discussions. Some representatives argued for immediate containment protocols, while others demanded access to the human research data. But Elena Torres, standing quietly at the back of the chamber, saw something the others missed: fear. The advanced species were facing something that challenged not just their understanding of physics, but their entire approach to knowledge. Back at Research Station Omega, the Curiosity's crew had made another breakthrough. Dr. Reynolds, working with the station's original crew, had developed what he called a quantum consciousness interface, a combination of traditional sensors, human brainwave monitors, and the surprisingly effective analog synthesizer. "It's like learning a new language," he explained over the quantum link to the council. "But instead of words, we're learning to think in probabilities. Instead of grammar, we're using quantum entanglement patterns." The entity they had discovered was neither hostile nor dying. It was attempting to restore something that had been lost: the ability of conscious beings to perceive and interact with the quantum layer of reality. The advanced species' mastery of quantum mechanics had paradoxically cut them off from this deeper understanding. "We propose a solution," Sarah announced to the council. "Not containment, not control, but collaboration. The entity has shown us how to create spaces where quantum consciousness can coexist with classical reality. We can establish communication nodes throughout the galaxy, places where all species can learn to expand their understanding." The Zix representative's crystalline form shimmered with what might have been doubt. "And we should trust this entity. Trust humans, whose civilization is barely space-capable, to manage such a profound discovery." "Perhaps," Elena interjected smoothly, "that's exactly why we're suited for this role. Our primitive technology forced us to remain flexible, to approach problems from multiple angles. We never became so certain of our understanding that we stopped looking for alternatives." The solution, when it finally took shape, was characteristically human in its approach. Research Station Omega would become the first of many quantum consciousness centers, places where the rigid boundaries between classical and quantum reality could be safely explored. The human team's jury-rigged equipment would be refined but not replaced, maintaining the crucial balance between scientific precision and intuitive understanding. Dr. Tanaka's meditation chamber became the model for a new kind of interface, one that combined advanced quantum sensors with techniques derived from human consciousness research. The entity, through its quantum harmonics communications, began sharing knowledge that bridged the gap between scientific understanding and direct experience. "We're not just solving a problem," Sarah explained to her team as they watched the first group of alien scientists cautiously enter the modified meditation chamber. We're healing a divide in our understanding of the universe itself. The quantum entity, they learned, was part of a vast network of consciousness that permeated the quantum fabric of space. These beings hadn't disappeared as the galaxy's civilizations advanced. They had simply been waiting for someone to learn how to perceive them again. Humanity, with its unique blend of scientific curiosity and intuitive understanding, had inadvertently become that bridge. As the first alien scientists emerged from their sessions in the meditation chamber, their perspectives had been profoundly changed. They had experienced the quantum realm not as a set of equations to be solved, but as a living, dynamic aspect of reality that responded to consciousness itself. "This is why we explore space," Sarah remarked to Dr. Reynolds as they watched another group prepare for their session. "Not just to master the universe, but to understand it. Sometimes the greatest discoveries come not from knowing everything, but from being willing to admit how much we don't know." The Curiosity's modified equipment continued to record and translate the quantum harmonics, each session revealing new aspects of this deeper reality. Humanity had done more than make first contact. They had opened a door that the most advanced civilizations had unknowingly closed centuries ago. Legacy. 6 months after the events at Research Station Omega, the galaxy had changed in ways that even the most advanced civilizations hadn't predicted. The quantum consciousness centers, as they came to be known, had spread across inhabited space, each one a testament to humanity's unique contribution to galactic society. Sarah Chen stood at the observation window of the newly constructed Quantum Interface Academy on Earth, watching as representatives from dozens of species arrived for the inaugural symposium. The scene would have been unthinkable a year ago. Creatures of pure energy discussing quantum consciousness theory with crystalline beings, while humans demonstrated their refined versions of the meditation chambers and quantum harmonics translators. Still hard to believe sometimes, isn't it? Dr. Tanaka joined her at the window, holding a datapad displaying the latest results from their ongoing research. "We went from being seen as primitive newcomers to becoming teachers in quantum consciousness studies." The Academy itself was a perfect blend of human ingenuity and alien technology. The advanced species had contributed their precise quantum sensors and computational systems, but these were integrated with human-designed interfaces that preserved the crucial element of intuitive understanding. The original analog synthesizer, now something of a historical artifact, held a place of honor in the main hall. "Ambassador Torres is about to begin the opening ceremony," Dr. Reynolds called from across the room. "The council representatives are particularly interested in your presentation on the new findings." Sarah nodded, gathering her thoughts. The past months had revealed far more than anyone had initially imagined. The quantum entities, once thought to be rare anomalies, were actually integral to the fabric of space-time itself. Their consciousness permeated the quantum realm, influencing reality in ways that even the most advanced species were only beginning to understand. The presentation chamber was packed with beings from across the galaxy. Sarah activated the holographic display, showing the latest data from their quantum consciousness mapping project. The patterns were beautiful, intricate webs of possibility and awareness that connected all conscious beings to the quantum substrate of reality. "What we've discovered," Sarah began, "is not just a new form of communication or a novel scientific principle. We've found a fundamental truth about consciousness itself. The quantum realm isn't just a set of physical laws to be mastered. It's a living, breathing part of our collective existence." The data showed how different species' consciousness patterns interacted with the quantum field. The advanced species, with their highly structured approach to reality, created clear, precise patterns. Humans, with their more flexible thinking, produced chaotic but incredibly adaptive patterns. And the quantum entities themselves created patterns that somehow encompassed both approaches. "Our greatest strength," Sarah continued, "was never in our technology or our scientific understanding. It was in our ability to embrace uncertainty, to approach the unknown with both rational inquiry and intuitive openness. We didn't succeed because we were more advanced. We succeeded because we were willing to admit how much we didn't know. The impact of their discovery had rippled through galactic society. The advanced species, initially skeptical, had found that incorporating human approaches to quantum consciousness had revolutionized their own research. Technologies that had plateaued centuries ago were advancing again, driven by new insights into the quantum nature of reality. But perhaps more importantly, the galaxy was changing on a deeper level. Species that had long viewed each other with diplomatic politeness at best were finding common ground in their shared exploration of quantum consciousness. The rigid hierarchies of technological advancement were giving way to a more nuanced understanding of different species' contributions. The entities have shown us something profound, Dr. Tanaka added during the discussion session. Consciousness isn't just an emergent property of complex systems. It's a fundamental force in the universe, as essential as gravity or electromagnetism. And each species, each individual, experiences and interfaces with it in unique and valuable ways. After the symposium, Sarah found herself back at the observation window, watching the sun set over the academy grounds. Earth's simple beauty, once seen as a sign of its primitive nature, now drew visitors from across the galaxy. They came not just to learn about quantum consciousness techniques, but to experience the environment that had produced a species capable of such innovative thinking. The Council has approved the expansion program, Ambassador Torres announced, joining her at the window. We'll be establishing quantum consciousness centers in every major system, and they've specifically requested that humans lead the training programs. Sarah smiled, remembering the initial skepticism they had faced. Not bad for a primitive species. That's just it, Elena replied thoughtfully. They don't see us as primitive anymore. They've realized that advancement isn't just about technological progress. It's about maintaining the ability to see the universe with fresh eyes. The quantum entity that they had first encountered at Research Station Omega had become a regular participant in their research, its consciousness bridging the gap between classical and quantum understanding. Through it, they had learned that the universe was far stranger and more wonderful than anyone had imagined. As the first stars became visible in the darkening sky, Sarah reflected on humanity's journey. They had entered the galactic community as outsiders, seen as barely worthy of notice, but their very limitations had forced them to remain adaptable, to approach problems from unusual angles, to maintain a sense of wonder that more advanced species had lost. The legacy of their discovery wasn't just scientific advancement or new technology. It was a fundamental shift in how sentient beings understood their place in the cosmos. Humanity had shown that true progress came not from mastering the universe, but from remaining open to its mysteries. As night fell over the academy, the quantum harmonics translator in the main hall continued its work, translating the music of consciousness itself into patterns that all species could understand. In the end, humanity's greatest contribution to the galaxy hadn't been power or advanced technology. It had been the simple ability to look at the universe with wonder and say, "What if?"